I am not very happy, Heat fans. Obviously, I was someone who really wanted Kevin Durant to be a member of the Miami Heat, and he went to the Houston Rockets. So I'm not happy about that, as I broke down in the reaction video yesterday. But the Heat's final offer for KD was revealed in what Pat Riley was willing to offer the Phoenix Suns for Kevin Durant. That also was revealed. And I got to be honest, it makes him look really, really washed. And I can't stand where the Heat organization is heading, and it's been heading this way, really, for the last 3 seasons. Before we get into everything on today's show, hit that sub button, because we're 29 away from 23K. If we get to 23K on today's show, I'll do a shot to start the show off tomorrow. But make sure you do subscribe, though, for daily Heat content. We're also going to be live for the NBA Draft on Wednesday and Thursday. All right, let's talk about KD now, because I always thought the Heat's offer was going to be a combination of Andrew Wiggins, Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, and then the 20th overall pick. Well, it doesn't sound like Miami had any intention of that being the final offer. Barry Jackson, when speaking on what the Heat were willing to offer, said, according to a source with direct knowledge, the Heat not only declined to offer center Kel'el Ware, but also did not offer forward Nikola Jovic to Phoenix in final discussions between the teams before the Suns shipped out Durant to Houston on Sunday. And I think this is an absolute joke. I said this from the very beginning. I understand not giving up Kel'el Ware because he looks like a really good front court partner with Bam Adebayo for the foreseeable future. And I would have traded Ware, personally, if you kept every single draft pick you had. But I understand not trading him. I really do. But not giving up Nikola Jovic in a deal and making him borderline untouchable for KD, that is unreal to me. That makes no sense, and that just kind of shows me that this front office is kind of out of touch with reality at this point. They oftentimes overvaluate their own players. This is something I believe Heat fans do as well. I talked about it on a show last week. We as fans sometimes overvalue these prospects, these younger players, in hopes that they can blossom into all-star and all-NBA level guys. I do not think Nikola Jovic has all-NBA level potential. I don't even know if he has all-star potential. He has been solid the past couple of years. Remember, he didn't really play his rookie year. It took Jimmy Butler basically begging the coaching staff to finally let Jovic have a shot in 23-24. And then last season, he was expected to have a larger role, but Nikola Jovic wasn't really used to the best of his ability by the coaching staff, and then he broke a bone in his hand that cost him the final 30 games of this regular season. Like, Nikola has a lot of nice things at his disposal, right? He's 6'10", 6'11". He's a really good three-point shooter. He is a good connective passer, and he can handle the ball a little bit, especially in transition. But he's not the best rebounder for his size, and he's not the best defender in terms of his switchability. So what is his absolute ceiling? And as someone who was the leader of Jovic fan club, Jovic FC, you can roll back the tape towards 2023 when I talked about should the Heat make him untouchable in Damian Lillard trade discussions. And if you've watched our content or watch parties, you know how much love I have for Nikola Jovic. He's one of the rare players on the Miami Heat that I own his jersey. I love Nikola Jovic. But when it comes to freaking Kevin Durant, I don't care he's going to be 37. You absolutely put Nikola Jovic on the table for KD. Jovic and Ware? No. You get one. But not making any of those two available via trade, that just shows me, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, that Pat Riley and this Heat front office might be a little bit out of touch with reality on their own prospects, but also what it requires nowadays to make a trade for a player of KD's caliber. So let me know, if you were the Heat's front office, if you were the GM, you're Pat Riley, would you have offered Nikola Jovic for Kevin Durant? I would have. It would have hurt, but I would have. Type Y for yes or type N for no. So we'll transition to the second part of this video to where it was revealed what the Heat's final offer was. We'll start with this. The Heat never offered multiple first-round picks. They only offered the 20th overall selection. But there's also reports out there that the Suns did not want Andrew Wiggins. Didn't want him at all. So that's obviously going to probably hinder the ability for Miami to ultimately get a trade done. This is what the final offer was, reported by Barry Jackson. Final offer included Andrew Wiggins, Terry Rozier, 2 bench players, and the 20th pick in the 2025 NBA draft. Haywood Highsmith and Jaime Jaquez Jr. were discussed as those 2 additional pieces in Miami's offer, the source said. So here is what the official offer was for Kevin Durant. Andrew Wiggins, Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Haywood Highsmith, and the 2025 first-round pick. Now, if you go on the trade machine, the salary for Miami sending out is a little bit too high for Phoenix, so there would have had to be another player given back to Miami, which would have probably complicated this deal because the Suns can't aggregate contracts. But either way, the unnamed player, I think we can guess it was Cody Martin because we got a report from Mark Stein that the Heat had interest in Cody Martin. He's on a 1-year, $8.6 million deal, so it was probably Cody Martin coming back to Miami. This was the trade that Miami offered. It was their official and final offer. Like I mentioned, it's kind of a joke that Nikola Jovic wasn't in this deal. Not that I want to get rid of him, but if you seriously wanted to acquire KD, he probably has to be there. And I'll ask this of Pat Riley. Did he really think the 2 worst contracts that Miami have in Andrew Wiggins and Terry Rozier, plus a couple bench players and the 20th overall pick, which isn't really that valuable, was going to get him Kevin Durant? Like, what are we doing? Like, seriously. You really thought that was going to be able to top Houston? Even if you didn't know what Houston was offering, there is not really many packages that they could have constructed due to salary that didn't top the Heat's package. Like, I just don't understand. It's hard for me to fathom that. I'm going to use this phrase for the 3rd time today. They're out of touch with reality sometimes, man. It is. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there was also reports out there that the Suns didn't want Andrew Wiggins. So Wiggins was pretty much vital in any trade that went down, considering he makes $28 million, and I didn't really see a fit of Wiggins and KD on the same team. So to that point, it's like, yeah, you're obviously going to have to trade Andrew Wiggins in this deal. Like, I will say this. Even if Wiggins really wasn't wanted by the Phoenix Suns, I truly believe that Andrew Wiggins, Duncan, Nikola Jovic, and the 20th pick was better than what Houston offered. I was very open about that belief on yesterday's reaction video to the KD trade because Duncan Robinson helps them get underneath the luxury tax. It saves them an unbelievable amount of money in cap relief. Jovic is the best young player in that trade, and the 20th pick is obviously something they would value pretty highly. Like, I mentioned it yesterday, so we'll briefly talk about it on this show, but I think Jalen Green stinks. He's making $30+ million. Yeah, he's young, but he is not a conducive player to winning at whatsoever. He also does not fit with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, in my opinion, and who knows what's going to happen there. Like, Phoenix is going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA next year, and you can mark this right now, and I believe this will come to fruition. Dylan Brooks is a volatile, veteran. He doesn't move the needle, in my opinion. Andrew Wiggins is better than him. And then, yeah, they get the 10th pick in 5 second-rounders, but wouldn't you have rather saved yourself like $60 million in cap and taken on a young player in Jovic and an okay 3-and-D wing that's better than Dylan Brooks anyway and Wiggins? Like, I don't understand if the Heat offered that package that I mentioned that the Rockets would have turned that down. I truly believe it would have got it done. And I can't believe Miami couldn't get this trade done. All right, the NBA draft is 2 days away. Make sure you get your Heat draft hats right now. They've got curved, they got flat brims, black, white, bucket hats. Grab yours today. Whoever the Heat selects with that 20th pick, because it now seems like they will be making a selection unless some crazy trade happens in the next 48 hours, you can see and get the hat that the prospect will walk across the stage in. Chatsports.com/Heat2025 draft hats. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Get yours today. Pat Riley is holding this franchise back. He is. I don't want to make this seem like I am ungrateful because he helped deliver 3 titles towards the Miami Heat's organization. I will forever be grateful for that. But where he has been over the last 5 years has been nothing short of disgraceful. He landed Jimmy Butler because Dwayne Wade got in his ears and told him to go to Miami. He traded for Kyle Lowry. Okay move. Passed up on other options. Then traded for Terry Rozier. Disaster. Basically ran Jimmy Butler out of town. And he has consistently came up short after short after short on stars like KD, Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard. The list goes on and on. It's exhausting to go over the full list. KD was there for the taking. The fact they were not willing to offer Nikola Jovic, who I love, in a deal is just embarrassing. Pat Riley is holding this team back. And now I want to go here to round out today's show. What's next for the Miami Heat? We briefly discussed it at the show yesterday of me reacting to the Rockets trade with Kevin Durant. Barry Jackson shed some light on what Miami might be doing. I know a lot of rumors out there have surrounded DeMar DeRozan, have sounded Jonathan Kuminga. That kind of got shut down by Barry Jackson. Barry said that the two players that have been linked to Miami in published reports, DeMar DeRozan, who is definitely available, and restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, had not been the focus of Heat discussions as of Sunday afternoon, two sources said. So I have a couple thoughts here. One, I don't want either of them. I've been very open. I do not want DeMar DeRozan. I do not want Jonathan Kuminga. I would take DeRozan if the trade was like Jaquez Rozier and a second-round pick. Like, that's as much as I'm offering for DeMar DeRozan because I don't think he fits and I don't think he changes anything in Miami. Plus, what is the team going to be? Where are you trading Andrew Wiggins in that point too? Because Wiggins, DeRozan, Bam, and Ware, like, whoa, you just have a crowded room of a lot of people who can't shoot threes. So that gets dicey. But either way, of course they're not going to have those discussions at this point. They may have, like, reached out, like, to just garner potential interest in a trade and stuff like that. But if they were fully in on KD, which they were, they just came up short, then they weren't going to be having major discussions around Kuminga and DeMar DeRozan at this point. So I don't want either of them. I don't think there was serious conversations about the two of them to this point either. We'll see what happens this week, though. Things will change. And by the time we get to next Monday, a week from today, which is the first day of free agency at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, June 30th, we'll probably have a larger picture of what Miami might be trying to do in free agency on the trade market after the NBA draft. So what do you think? Let me know. Very open-ended question here. What should the Heat's next move be? I'm going to give you my thoughts here in a second, but let me know what the Heat should do the rest of the offseason. My move, sit out until 2026. DeRozan doesn't change anything. Kuminga doesn't change anything. I don't think anybody's out there that changes anything. So if you're asking me, I think you should just stand still. Be bad this year. You're going to be a play-in team at best again this season. You are. Unless Kel'el Ware takes a third-year or second-year jump to where he is an all-star level player, which maybe happens, maybe doesn't. We saw it happen with Jalen Williams for the OKC Thunder. He was good as a rookie. Year 2, he was awesome and helped them get the number 1 seed in the West. And then year 3, they obviously just won the title last night. Congrats to that. But unless you get a jump like that from Kel'el Ware or Nikola Jovic, this team is not going to be good next season. It's not. And I'm fine with that at this point. It's why the Heat wanted to make the playoffs. It's because now they have their pick in 2026 completely unprotected in the draft class that has the Boozer, AJ Dembasta, and Darren Peterson at the top. And maybe you can land one of those if you get lucky in the lottery and are that bad. Just don't mortgage your future. Don't mortgage any assets in the future for a shitty Band-Aid on a shitty situation. Like I mentioned, there's no moves that can be made that ultimately helps this team compete for a title in 2025. Just hold off, and for the love of everything, do not extend Tyler Hero. I know some people are going to say, well, with Halliburton getting hurt, which sucks, Tatum hurt, Dame hurt, there could be a chance where Hero makes the All-NBA team if he averages 26, 27 a game on efficient shooting again. And then his price tag jumps up astronomically high. I understand those concerns. But at that point, I don't even want to extend him at that number. Point is, the Heat kind of in no man's land right now. And that's why I said you either need to go all in on KD, which they did not do, or you need to trade your star players and kind of tear everything down. I don't know if I would want to trade Bam. He would net you the biggest return, but I would certainly exploring trading Tyler Hero this offseason after he just had a career year. I've been saying this from the very beginning, folks. I am sick and tired of being stuck in the middle. I either want to push the chips and make an aggressive bid for a title in a weak Eastern Conference, which you could argue is the worst decision, or I wanted to trade away some of our top guys, get as much draft capital for the future as possible, create cap space, and kind of reset our timeline. Knowing Miami, and it's why I can't fucking stand this front office anymore, they're going to stand right in the middle and just continue being mid and keeping this franchise in no man's land. That'll do it for today's show. Even though I'm very fed up with this front office and the direction of the Miami Heat, we're still going to cover this team on a daily basis. So hit that sub button. Make sure you stay tuned for our draft coverage on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be live for the draft, break down who the Heat take, and look at everything in between. So join the channel today.